Welcome to the video. 12 food combinations people pretend to like but many dislike. We're diving into 12 bold pairings. From sushi with caviar bombs and Brussels sprouts with truffle oil to uni sushi bowls and sardines on sourdough toast. These picks spark strong opinions, and we'll unpack why some flavors clash and others might deserve a second look. Stick around as we weigh the hype against the taste and reveal which combos you might actually enjoy. 1. Sushi with caviar bombs. Let's start with something that sounds impossibly fancy. Many surveyed are not fans of this Japanese delicacy, although they continue to spend plenty of dough on those rolls. When you add expensive caviar to already polarizing raw fish, you're creating a sensory overload that many people secretly dread. The burst of salty fish eggs combined with the delicate texture of raw tuna can feel like eating ocean water with a rubber band chaser. Women, on the other hand, are more averse than men to several forms of seafood, including anchovies, sardines, squid, oysters, caviar, and sushi. Despite posting photos of their expensive omakase dinners, many diners are mentally calculating how much they spent per bite while wondering why they didn't just order chicken teriyaki. My hypothesis is that not many people legitimately like sushi, but lots of people think that they should like sushi because it's en vogue, posited the blog The Comeback. The combination creates a perfect storm of pretending to appreciate sophisticated flavors. 2. Brussels sprouts with truffle oil. Despite its faithful appearance on holidays, the Brussels sprout is the American vegetable villain. A 2008 survey by Heinz shows that Brussels sprouts now take the most hated prize for Americans in general, with eggplant faring slightly worse among kids. Now imagine drowning these already controversial vegetables in synthetic truffle oil. Many restaurants serve this combination as their elevated side dish, charging premium prices for what basically amounts to bitter mini cabbages soaked in artificial mushroom flavoring. Truffle oil often disappoints. Synthetic truffle aromas can overshadow the dish, leaving a pungent aftertaste rather than enhancing flavors. While it's marketed as a luxury, many products lack real truffle content, relying on aromas instead. The result is a dish that tastes like someone sprayed air freshener on vegetables that already make people grimace. Yet diners nod approvingly because it's trendy. 3. Avocado toast with everything seasoning. Avocado toast has become the poster child of trendy brunch spots worldwide. Yet, when you strip away the hype, it's simply smashed avocado on bread. The cost? Often exorbitant, leaving wallets lighter and minds puzzled. When you add everything seasoning on top, you're basically eating $20 bread with green mush and seed sprinkles. The texture combination can feel like eating baby food with tiny rocks mixed in. Many people order this because it looks great on Instagram, but they're secretly thinking about how they could have made the same thing at home for $3. The allure lies not in its taste, but in the social media prestige of posting it. The everything seasoning doesn't improve the bland avocado flavor, it just adds more confusion to an already overpriced meal that leaves you hungry an hour later. 4. Kale salads with pomegranate seeds. Kale has been hailed as a superfood, yet its taste can be divisive. Bitter and tough, its raw form isn't for everyone, often requiring massaging or cooking to become palatable. While nutritionally dense, the relentless marketing as a miracle green sets unrealistic expectations. Adding pomegranate seeds to raw kale creates a textural nightmare that people pretend to enjoy. You're basically eating bitter leaves with crunchy seeds that pop unexpectedly in your mouth. A lot of people say they love kale because it sounds healthy. Still, when you eat kale in a salad, it often feels like you are chewing a handful of tough leaves that refuse to break down no matter how long you chew, and deep inside, most people wish they had just gone with some fresh, crispy romaine or a simple spinach base instead. The pomegranate seeds add little bursts of tartness that don't complement the bitterness, they just create more sensory chaos. 5. Oysters with mignonette sauce. Following the top 3 and widespread in popularity are foods like tofu, squid, caviar, oysters, blue cheese, sushi, chitterlings, beets, and kale. Raw oysters already have a texture that many describe as swallowing a loogie, but adding mignonette sauce creates an even more challenging experience. The vinegar-based sauce is supposed to enhance the briny flavor, but it often just adds more liquid to something that already feels uncomfortably wet and slimy. They're not even pretending anymore. They're the texture of a thick luigi. They taste like saltwater and algae that's marinated in an old piece of discarded bubblegum. People order dozen after dozen at raw bars, claiming to love the ocean essence while internally fighting their gag reflex. The social pressure to appear sophisticated keeps people slurping down these questionable mollusks. 6. Blue cheese and honey combination. Blue cheese is the only dairy item included in the poll. This pungent cheese that smells like old socks becomes even more confusing when drizzled with honey. Restaurants serve this combination on everything from pizza to charcuterie boards, creating a sweet and funky flavor profile that most people secretly find revolting. Blue cheese is famous for being strong and bold, but eating and pretending it's amazing, it often feels like biting into a chunk of something that tastes suspiciously like old socks. The honey doesn't make the blue cheese more palatable, it just creates a weird sweet moldy flavor that confuses your taste buds. People pretend to enjoy this sophisticated pairing because it sounds gourmet, but they're usually reaching for crackers to cleanse their palate between bites. The combination represents everything wrong with trying too hard to make unusual flavors work together. 7. Quinoa bowls with tahini dressing. Quinoa's rise to fame as a super grain brought mixed reactions. Touted for its protein content, the taste and texture can be an acquired one. The craze sometimes overshadows other grains that are equally nutritious and flavorful. Quinoa's slightly bitter taste and unique texture don't appeal to everyone. When you add tahini dressing, you're combining bitter seeds with bitter sesame paste, creating a double dose of chalky, unpleasant flavors that health-conscious diners force themselves to consume. When you pretend to like quinoa, it usually feels like chewing a mouthful of tiny pebbles that somehow taste both bland and slightly bitter at the same time. While people smile and say it's delicious, deep down they often dream about a big plate of fluffy rice or creamy pasta that makes their taste buds happy. The tahini dressing adds a nutty bitterness that doesn't improve the quinoa experience, it just makes everything taste like health food that nobody actually wants to eat. 8. Liver and onions with bacon. According to various surveys, the foods most commonly disliked by American adults include anchovies, liver, and sardines. A ranking of the most hated foods would likely show liver near the top, with surveys showing very high dislike rates. Adding bacon to liver is like putting perfume on garbage. The bacon doesn't make the liver taste better, it just creates confusion about why something that smells so good can taste so metallic and mineral heavy. We know the liver is full of nutrients, but when you smile while eating the liver, it feels like every bite comes with the heavy taste of metal and something slightly sour. Even though people say it's an acquired taste, most would trade their whole plate just to get something lighter and less intense that doesn't feel like a strange punishment for trying to be healthy. People claim to enjoy this traditional combination because it sounds hearty and old-fashioned, but they're usually pushing the liver around their plate while eating all the bacon first. 9. Matcha lattes with oat milk. Matcha looks beautiful in lattes and desserts, but sometimes it feels like someone ground up a bunch of bitter leaves and decided that was a flavor worth celebrating. Even though everyone pretends matcha makes them feel calm and fancy, most secretly think it tastes a little too much like powdered spinach mixed with hot water. When you add oat milk, which has its own distinct grainy flavor, you're creating a beverage that tastes like liquid breakfast cereal mixed with lawn clippings. Coffee shop customers order these $15 drinks because they look beautiful and sound healthy, but they're usually adding multiple packets of sugar to make them drinkable. The oat milk's creamy texture can't mask the fact that matcha tastes like drinking a garden, and the combination creates an expensive beverage that most people tolerate rather than enjoy. 10. Sardines on sourdough toast. According to various surveys, anchovies, liver, and sardines consistently rank among the most disliked foods by American adults. Trendy brunch spots serve sardines on toast as their European-inspired option, but most diners are secretly horrified by the fishy, oily little fish staring back at them. The combination of tangy sourdough with intensely fishy sardines creates a flavor clash that sends taste buds into panic mode. People order this dish because it sounds sophisticated and worldly, but they usually spend the entire meal trying to separate the fish from the bread while pretending to enjoy the authentic experience. The sardines' strong flavor overpowers everything else on the plate, leaving diners with fish breath and regret. This is definitely a case where people pretend to appreciate acquired tastes they haven't actually acquired. 11. Kombucha cocktails. Fancy bars serve kombucha cocktails as their health-conscious option, combining the fermented tea's vinegar-like taste with alcohol to create drinks that taste like someone mixed wine with pickle juice. The effervescent texture combined with the sour, funky flavor creates a beverage that most people find deeply unpleasant but continue ordering because it sounds trendy and healthy. The alcohol doesn't improve the kombucha's natural tartness, it just makes everything taste more medicinal. Customers sip these expensive cocktails while making subtle grimaces, pretending that the probiotic benefits make the terrible taste worthwhile. The combination creates a drink that satisfies neither the desire for a refreshing cocktail nor the supposed health benefits of kombucha. People finish these drinks because they paid $20 for them, not because they actually enjoy the flavor profile. 12. Sea urchin, uni, sushi bowl. Sea urchin, or uni, looks beautiful and colorful, but when you eat sea urchin at a sushi bar, it often feels like putting a spoonful of ocean-flavored butter in your mouth. Even though people act like it's the height of fine dining, most of them secretly find the slimy texture and strong, fishy flavor so overwhelming that they wish they had just ordered a simple tuna roll instead. When served in trendy poke bowls, the uni creates orange streaks that look impressive but taste like the ocean's most concentrated essence mixed with custard. The creamy, almost liquid texture combined with an intensely briny flavor creates an eating experience that most people find overwhelming and unpleasant. Diners order these expensive bowls because uni is considered a delicacy, but they usually end up mixing it with rice and seaweed to dilute the intense flavor. The combination represents the ultimate in pretentious food, ordering something that looks exotic and expensive but tastes like challenging marine biology. People pretend to love these 12 food combinations for various reasons: social pressure, wanting to appear sophisticated, or following Instagram trends. But the truth is, when nearly half the population dislikes certain ingredients individually, combining them doesn't magically create flavor harmony. Sometimes the emperor really isn't wearing clothes, and these trendy food combinations are just expensive ways to eat things that don't taste good together. What's your most secretly hated, sophisticated food combination?